All decisions have consequences. And what does this mean? Let's get into it. Welcome to Teaching Creative Writing with Miss Ria, and today we are going to look at the narrative writing topic, and it deals with actions and consequences. So on the board I have here with me the topic, all decisions have consequences. The first step in our narrative writing process is reading and understanding the question by underlining the important parts. So what we would underline here from this topic is all decisions have consequences. And what does this mean? We need to understand the word consequences. What does consequence mean? A consequence is the result of. So the result of you doing some sort of action. It also implies that you would have done something wrong, and in so doing you would have learned some lesson, you would have gotten in trouble. So the question here is one that lends the interpretation that we would have made some sort of wrong choice or decision and led to us learning a valuable lesson in never repeating such action. So step one, we underline this line that has to go in the story. So we'd underline story and includes this line because that is a key point for the question. So step two, we ask ourselves, is this story category fantasy, reality, or both? And the question can lend the interpretation of both. It can be fantasy, it can be reality. So I put some suggestions here for us. So on the fantasy, perhaps you would have seen a portal, you go into it even though you've been warned not to. Aliens, perhaps you would have pressed some button or something of the sort and trigger some alien invasion. And then we have reality, cheating in a test. You also have stealing. So we are going to look at the reality side of things and choose cheating on a test. So this brings us to step three. Step three is where we plan our story with erracophy. Erracophy being the elements of the plot. So in our formula erracophy, our introduction, which is I, we are going to set the stage for our story. So I arrive at school. Then the rising action, you build the story where you are in class and then your teacher announces there is test. Of course, you are not prepared, so you would give a reason here in the rising action as to why you did not study. Maybe you forgot, maybe you were busy playing video games, whatever the reason. It leads us to the climax, which is the high point of tension in the story. You decide to cheat in test. And you can choose different ways. We have cell phone, looking in books, writing on hands, numerous ways to cheat. So that comes here in the climax where you get caught. The falling action, that is the problem here would be that you are cheating. The falling action would be how it is solved. So part of it would be that you are caught in the act and then you are punished, of course, for your wrongdoing. That now leads us to the end of the story where you learned a valuable lesson, perhaps in time management, in honesty, as well as preparing yourself for your test, which also would be responsibility. So I hope that this topic here would be one that you would love to write about, and I hope that the three-part process of reading, underlining, fantasy, reality category, and then planning with erracophy would also help you with any story that you have to write for narrative writing.